Now this illustration deals with administration and enforcement in accordance with the Annex H in the back of the NEC. Now notice if you look at the Annex H outline in the boxed in information, basically, you have the scope, the definitions, the purpose of the article, why this article was adopted by a local municipality, so to speak, the title of the article, what it represents, and then the application of the article. We have the occupancy, a building or structure, where basically 80.11 covers that. 80.13 covers the authority, where it's the building official over the entire department, or maybe the chief electrical inspector for the electrical and so forth. And then, of course, 80.15 basically explains how to implement electrical board. 80.15 covers the electrical board in its entirety. If you wanted to, as a state, county, or city, implement electrical board. 80.17 kind of deals with records and reports that the administration might want to develop such a program with rules and regulations according to 80.17. 80.19 deals with the permits and approvals. Exactly when is a permit required, and then who has the authority to approve a permit? Would it be a plumbing permit, building permit, mechanical, electrical? If you wanted to review 80-21, then that's plans review. If you had such a plan review department that would review residential, commercial, and industrial plans and see if they met the approval of Annex H, which is Article 80. 80.23 is the notice of violations and penalties. What would be the penalty? For example, say there were some hazards in a particular facility, the state, county, or city could come out and write you a 10-day notice that these hazards had to be corrected within 10 days, or whatever length of time the authority having jurisdiction granted to the person that owned the facility. 80.25 deals with the connection of the electrical supply. And usually that falls under the electrical chief and the electrical department in most cases. 80.27 is the inspector's qualification. Such as when I was the chief electrical inspector for the city of Fort Worth, you had to have 8 years experience in the field, or go through an apprenticeship program with 4 years experience, or have an engineering degree before you could qualify to even be an inspector. And 80.27 deals with the inspector's qualifications as a minimum. 80.29 is the liability for dangers or damages. In other words, does a city require a contractor to have a certain amount of insurance in case damages was done during the remodeling, the building, the wiring, and so forth? 80.31 is which is kind of the utility of it. What is the guarantee of a contractor working for a facility? If damage did occur, do they have the insurance and be bonded to fix that equipment and so forth? 80.33 deals with the appeal of a conflicting act. Say that I'm the inspector, I go out and write a citation, the building facility owner or residential, whatever it may be, they did not agree with my assessment, then they could take it to my boss, which is usually the chief of the department. If that individual agreed, then they could appeal it to the electrical board if it was electrical. And if the electrical board agreed with the chief inspector and his authorities of inspectors, then it could also be taken to the council. So this is kind of a appeal of a conflicting act. And then 80.35 is the effective date when the department adopted administration and enforcement department. But what this Annex H does is give the basic rules to set up such administration and enforcement department, and then any other added requirements could be added in and edited as the state, county, or city they see an effect. How did they want it to be more restrictive or less restrictive? This would be up to each county, each state, or city, or municipality. So that's what this Annex H is all about, and since it's a recommendation, it's not enforcement, that's why it was put back in the Annex H and not listed ahead of Article 90 as Article 80 when it first appeared in the code. So basically, this is what the Annex H represents.